everyone. This is Deanna from Confident Voice Studio. And today I want to welcome you to one of our teacher spotlights with Melissa Sondergeld-Hood. She's one of our teachers. She's a graduate of Warner Pacific University, and she's teaching voice, piano, preschool music, and so much more with us. So today we're going to ask her some questions so we can get to know her a little bit better. All right, Melissa, I'm going to start with a very challenging, very complicated question. What's your favorite color?
Yellow or blue.
Okay, and is it primary yellow, like really bright? Do you like a pale canary? Do you like all yellows? I
All
knew I'd
yellows,
stump you.
except for like the highlighter colors, like the neon
Not a
colors.
neon, not a
Not,
neon yellow.
no, not a neon yellow.
Okay. And what about a favorite flavor of ice cream?
Chocolate chip cookie dough, which fortunately they also make in non-dairy versions since I cannot have dairy.
You don't choose to have dairy. Of course, we don't recommend dairy for singers, period, so that's good. And if you could jam with any musician, dead or alive, who do you think you might pick?
That is a good question. When it comes to picking favorites, I have a hard time, but I think that if I could sit down with a musician and just sing with them, it would probably be Julie Andrews, which, you know, because a lot of her music and roles are things I would just love to sit and like sing along with her, I think.
Okay. Tell me, what do you think excites you the most about teaching music?
Well, ever since I started learning music, I saw what my teachers did in inspiring us to find our voices and to build confidence. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to help other people find their voice and feel really confident about using it, whether it's singing on a stage or going into an interview and feeling really confident, like I can speak clearly or I can sing clearly, and just sort of gain that confidence for themselves.
So tell me, what kind of music are you listening to right now? Like if I could pop on Spotify or Pandora or Apple Music or whatever you use, be a fly on the wall. What are you listening to these days?
A lot of all classical. So the classical radio station in Portland,
Mhm.
because they do a lot of score, like movie scores, along with classical music. And then some interesting, like alternative bands that do like strange little focuses, like Harry Potter, or just some very not very well known, like alternative, sort of fun music.
So what's one that you might recommend so that if someone's watching this right now and they like Harry Potter, who should they be listening to?
Harry and the Potters, who
Okay.
actually tour the country and they go to local libraries, and they were in Gresham last year, and I went to the library and I listened to a very loud band instead of a library, which was odd because you are supposed to be quiet, and it was not at all quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. So if you could go back in time and pinpoint the person or the experience that sort of inspired you to be a musician, who would it or what would it be?
Well, my dad was a classical and jazz clarinetist and saxophone player when he was in elementary school and all the way through college. And so I grew up like jazz music was playing all the time. And I actually played and learned clarinet first on my dad's clarinet that we refurbished. And I actually still have it. And the case still says his name on it. Um, so, yeah, I think that's where it started.
That's great. I was actually just going to ask, do you just sing or do you play other instruments as well? So we know you sing, we know you play clarinet. Any other instruments that you play?
A little bit of everything. Because I studied music education, you had to learn the basics of all the instruments. So
Wow.
I am an expert on a few, but if somebody said, I have a question about how do I get the right embouchure for flute, I could tell you, but don't ask me to play a Mozart piece for flute because I
Got it.
am not that good.
I got it. So, um, a master of some and a jack of all trades.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about musical theater. What are some of your favorite shows that you've been in?
I really enjoyed being in Singing in the Rain and Into the Woods, both because they're really fun stories, but also because the music is very well written, especially Singing in the Rain is very classical, from a very classical music kind of era. And I have a lot of good memories from doing both of those.
I love Singing in the Rain, though I've never seen it on stage. That's one of the movies that made the biggest impact on me as a kid. And if people come into the studio, they'll often notice that I have a hand-drawn headshot of Gene Kelly on my desk. So big fan of him. So what roles have you not held yet that would be a dream for you?
Uh, my list is based off of musicals that I like, but also people who I admire. So I have a list of the roles that Julie Andrews has played, like specifically like Mary Poppins or Maria from The Sound of Music. And then some of the roles Bernadette Peters has played as well, although she's very much like a character actress, which is something that I think would be fun to try. Like try being the witch in Into the Woods. Um, oh, there was something else she was in as well that I'm blanking on that I thought would be kind of fun. No, I'm not going to remember it, but
Maybe you'll think of it in a bit. You just shout it
yeah.
out when you're ready. So what do you listen to when you need a pick-me-up or to get inspired?
I will often listen to a musical playlist. It has maybe not quite like 100 different musicals in it, but quite a few musicals that have all just been put into one giant playlist. Something where there are songs that have a lot of energy or songs that you can belt. And so, whatever specific song I need, I can kind of flip through and go, okay, I need a song where it's like belty and sad so that I can, like, you know,
Let it out.
express, yeah, express some emotion. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Nice. Now I know you have animals at home, right?
yes.
Tell me about your animals.
Well, I have two cats. One of them is a black and white cat named Mitty, who is very much like a dog. She comes when she's called. She greets everybody at the door when they come in, so she's a little bit of a cat with a dog syndrome.
Got it.
Um, and then a little small gray cat named Poe, who is a little bit more particular about who he uh, loves and who he lets love him back.
So more like a traditional cat more
Hmm.
than MIDI. Yeah. Can we talk a little bit more about teaching specifically?
Yes.
Super. So, we teach in studio, but also online. And sometimes people are nervous or just unsure about the online lesson process. So I'd love to know from your perspective, what's one of the favorite things about teaching virtual or teaching online?
Well, I love the idea of teaching online because it gives us a lot of flexibility. If circumstances don't permit a student to come into the studio, it doesn't mean that they lose that opportunity. If a student is a youth and they don't bring themselves there, but their parents, are sick or something has happened to their vehicle and they can't get there, then, we can pop online and still meet and they can still get great feedback and great practice, and not having to miss it just because the circumstances around them haven't let them come in. So I think it's a great resource. And while I love seeing people in person, I also would love to see them on the other side of a screen too, if that means I can still get the opportunity to teach them.
Absolutely. What do you think one of the things might be that you would like parents to know most about you as a person?
Well, my heart has always been for students that I teach. I've also taught in a classroom setting as well at a school. And so my heart has always been for all the students that I teach. And so, often I say, well, my student or, my class or my kids, and people will look at me and I'm like, no, they're not mine, but they are still mine in a way. So because I my heart is for them, I will go out of my way in a lot of circumstances to make sure that they have what they need to be successful, whether that's they have an audition that comes up and they say, I really need a song. I'm like, okay, let's see what kind of song would fit the audition, and just kind of going the extra mile to make sure they have what they need.
Fantastic. All right, well, I think we're pretty much out of time for today, so I want to thank you for hanging out with us on our Teacher Spotlight. I want to thank Melissa Sondergeld-Hood and all of you for watching, and I very much look forward to you meeting her in the studio and having a fantastic time learning. So with that, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the studio or in the online studio. Bye for now.